bought all the wrong tools, all the wrong materials.
Really?
And made him a hideous hat. Like, it was so bad. But he wore it, and I was like, don't tell anyone I made that. Please don't.
No.
And so that's kind of how I got started. And I had to redeem myself. And I was like, I got to make you a good hat, because if you're going to wear this thing around town, like, I don't want anyone knowing that I made that.
How long did the first hat take you?
Oh, it took me probably 4 days to get it wearable.
Yeah.
Because I had no clue what I was doing. I had a block that was not made for making hats on. It was like a display block.
Okay.
Oh, really?
And so I didn't even know I had
I
the
wouldn't even
wrong
know
type.
that was a thing.
Wow.
And I didn't either.
Yeah.
And so I quickly discovered after making that hat that, like, nothing I bought was right. And I got the cheapest kind of felt, because I didn't know what kind of felt to use. I didn't know how to make them stiff. I had no clue what I was doing. I'm trying to make them a cowboy hat.
Okay, so it was cowboy hat style.
And it was like floppy and weird. It looked bad.
Bet he loved it though.
But he loved it just because I made it. And I was like, okay, we're going to do better.
Okay. And the second hat, what was that like?
So the second hat actually was a million times better, just because I found the correct type of felt, which took me about 6 months.
6 months.
6 months to find like the proper tools and materials, because back in 2016, 2017, people weren't like sharing this kind of stuff online.
Okay, so it was really hard to find.
It was hard to find. Just kind of the cheap stuff was available, like where if you just Googled it, it popped up. Where I ended up finding my felts was through a factory where their website, it shows that they sell hats, but not the felts.
Oh, okay.
And at the time, like, I think still they don't sell to hobbyists. You have to have a business, but they don't advertise. And it was a thing you had to call and place your order. There was no online anything.
Okay.
There's a little bit of assurance that they're going to be be good though.
Yeah,
like if you
I
have
was
to
thinking
find the guy,
yes,
he's probably pretty good.
Absolutely. And but it was like this treasure hunt of finding the right things. Yeah. So that was like, it was exciting to me because I'm a person, I've been a maker my whole life since I was just a little girl, and I obsess over something until I can find all the things and kind of master it. I'm like, okay, I need to deep dive. This will consume my life.
Which it has done since, yeah.
Yes, and this is actually, hats is like my longest lasting. In April will be 10 years.
10 years.
Of making, and I move on from things before 10 years.
Right, okay.
Yeah, like the sort of, it takes a while to see what you actually want to do, but I think you found your thing.
Yes, absolutely, because I still am not tired of it.
Yeah,
so
which is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't get bored of it after so long. Mm-hmm. And do you still feel like the challenge of making hats, like, because, 10 years is a long time.
It is, and like in other interviews, I had someone, he's like, how does it feel to be a master hatter? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I'm there yet.
Okay.
I feel like every hat build, I'm still learning something new. Every workshop I teach is a whole nother realm of things that I had no idea I would encounter. So I still don't feel like I've mastered the art of hats yet. And I think every year I evolve so much in ways that I didn't even know I could evolve.
Yeah.
And being able to encompass like the silver work, the leather work.
Yeah, it's not just a hat.
Yeah, it's not just a hat. And I make my own sweatbands. So there's all these different aspects to it that I'm like, how could you get bored of all of these different things you get to do? And it's so cool that this is my job.
Yeah, I know. It's a pretty cool job. Amazing.
What do you think it is about hats that you've stuck? Because you've openly said, like, I move on from things. And I think a lot of us as craftspeople, and Kate and I have been doing this 6 or 7 years, and your head's always going like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What is it about hats that have kept you so grounded in,
That's a good question.
like, 10 years? I know people that have had careers that aren't even 10 years long, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, before this, like all the things I did, and they were also creative practices, I would move on in 4 or 5, like, and then I would be on to the next thing. So hats, I think it's definitely the way that I got into it. It's very much tied to my late husband. He is, I think, and will forever be like a very foundational aspect of this craft for me. So each hat, like I feel like that little connection to him still. But again, going back to like, I get to learn and do so many things with the hats. So like I've always loved leather, but I never really did a deep dive into like braiding or doing intricate stamping until the hats. And so it's opened up these avenues of different creativity that I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to learn this, and I can learn it, and I can kind of justify spending the time on it because it's for my business, and I can invest in that tool because it's for the business, and so in a way, it's if a part of the hats does kind of get a little mundane, I can kind of spice it up with a different aspect of making that is still with the hats. And so like with my silver work, I didn't start kind of dabbling in silver until 2020. But I had a full setup. I had gotten an estate sale from a jeweler who had passed away, and I had all the tools, even like a huge trunk of silver, and I didn't touch it for probably 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Because I just had it. And I was like, I don't know how to use any of this. It's very intimidating. You have to use fire.
Very different than just hats.
Yes. And before, like I sewed, so it's like I know the realm of like soft materials and that, but like shifting into these harder, metals, and I was always intrigued, but didn't necessarily have the confidence. And 2020 opened up that space of like, okay, everything's shut down during COVID. I have the time now. I don't have any excuses. And I literally have everything I need, like sitting in this trunk. I just need to start dabbling.
Got the space to learn.
Yep.
Nothing's going at 100 miles an hour.
Yes. It was like the world is literally shut down. So no better time.
So did you learn it pretty good?
I ended up being able to do some things on my own. I went and took 2 classes with a local gal here who she's a phenomenal teacher. She owns a studio called Meltdown Studios, and she teaches kind of workshops like I do. You come and just do a one-off product. And like I actually made this ring with her. This is my very first
That's
project I ever did. Thank you. And
credit's due.
Yeah, that's pretty
good for your first go.
It just made me fall in love with the process of silver and working with stones. And then these were like my second thing I ever made with the silver. And so that with these 2 projects, it was like, okay, I kind of have the basis of things like how to make a bezel, how to set a stone. I think I can do stuff for the hats. Like I have enough knowledge to make hat pins. And then that just evolved into, we're making full hat bands out of silver now. And we're, doing multiple stone settings, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has. Adds so much more to the hat as well. Like customization, I'd imagine. Do you do a lot of custom hats?
So I'm primarily custom.
So you are primarily custom.
So I would say like 90% of the hats I make are custom.
Amazing.
And so, having the leather and silver options really opens it up to where people go all out with their customization and the things that they want. And with my sewing background, I'm able, I have a lot of customers who we do memorial hats, which is something that I would love to branch out more into, where people will bring me, an old flannel of their grandpa who just passed away.
That would be amazing.
And we'll make it into something for the hat.
Nice.
Or people who are like, my grandpa had this old belt buckle, but it's broken. How can we use it? And I'll be able to cut it up and make it into a pin or something, utilize it on the hat. I wish I would have documented it better because I'm terrible at documenting things. Because I just get in the moment. I'm like, oh shoot,
That's a lot of people.
I don't think to pull my camera out and film this, but she had a little bit of ashes, and we made a little resin stone out of the ashes and made it into a pin for her hat.
Oh, cool.
And so you can really do anything you want to your hat.
That's really cool.
Is the hat the product or is the hat the canvas?
I think the hat's the canvas. I think
that's what I'm getting from this.
yeah, like
100%.
I never wanted my hats to just be like pretty hats.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I get kind of swallowed up in the social media of like comparing and, oh, well, like this person's doing such cool things here, or so like I love they're so flashy and like, oh, like, yeah, they're doing way cooler things than me. But then I have to like bring myself back and like ground myself. Like, okay, this is like, I want my hats to be more than just a pretty product. And not that that's what they're doing. You know, everyone has their own style and process, but I want my hats to tell a story and to be more of like an extension of the person who's wearing it.
How much of that comes from your origin in making hats, or is that just a wider belief in any of the crafts that you've done?
You know, I think it's definitely come with age.
Okay.
I think before, when I was a seamstress, I started out, you know, just making clothes for myself, and then when it became a business, it was very much like for show. And I think most of that business was based on kind of an ego of I want to just make flashy things. And which was cool for like my early 20s, and it gave me that foundation of being a maker as a business. But I don't know that I found the sentimental value and kind of the pride in making something with my hands until later in life, when I started actually seeing seeing another maker work on a piece and realizing this is made with someone's like own two hands. Like they put their heart and soul into it. And then also realizing, oh, that's also what I do. And it wasn't until probably my late 20s that switch really clicked and was like, there's something special about having something handmade that isn't mass produced. I can't just run to the mall and pick it up. And we should really, you know, take care of these things and hold them at a higher value. So yeah, it took a while for me to really grasp that, like, this is special and this isn't just a thing that we're making and it's going to get tossed in a couple of years.
And what do you think it was that clicked? Like, what was the thing, if you could put your finger on it? I'm thinking from a consumer that's listening to this now, like, what is the thing that means that we have to hold it to a higher value? Absolutely.
So I think when it clicked, it was when my second daughter was born. And that's kind of when I was in the midst of doing custom wedding clothing, like dresses and bridesmaids and all of that. And I did a wedding where I had to make, I think it was 8 different bridesmaids dresses for the same wedding. So it's like same fabric. We like went to LA and the bride picked her fabric and all of this. And, but she wanted every single bridesmaid to have a say on like their design. And so having to make that many dresses that the bride approved of and that all of the individual bridesmaids approved of, that was the first thing that ever, I don't know, just even made it cross my mind that, oh, this is something it's more than just off the rack. She's wanting this to be extra special. And then shortly after that, I had someone I didn't do quilts, but I had someone reach out about quilts, and she sent me all of like a box of clothing from a family member who had passed away, and she wanted me to make her twin boys baby quilts out of them. Oh, wow. And I had just had my second daughter, and it was like I think the same idea of like, oh, this person wants something very special for her wedding that's like handmade, no one else is going to have it. This person's coming to me with, you know, I don't even make quilts, but I'm going to try to make her these quilts.
Yeah.
So it was special to her. It kind of tied into then, oh, I want to start making things for my daughter who is...
Because you want to make things that are special.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like all these people just like kind of started like, I don't know, being like these expanders in my life of showing me, oh, things don't have to be disposable. Things can have meaning. And I can be a part of that meaning.
Yeah, and you know, that's a big part of you doing it. They come to you specifically to do it, and that's quite a nice thing to have.
Some of the money we've spent on, even at ring lights, on handcrafted, I would never spend until I'm in front of somebody. And when you see what someone has put into it, you can, bad analogy, you can almost smell off of them what they've put into it. Like, it's so potent what someone puts into their own work. What would you say to, so you've obviously discovered this and discovered that people have, or not discovered, but you've learned and you've bear witness to people putting that worth in things. To other makers that are in their studio listening to this, that are not having a great day, sales aren't coming in, what would you say to them?
Oh, wow. There's so much to say. and it's funny because like this year has been a very different year for my business. So I feel like it's had a lot of those days. And I think many, many makers this year have experienced that.
It's been rough.
You know, I closed my retail space almost a year ago, and shifting back to my garage was a kind of a blow to the ego a little bit. I didn't want to like admit that for a while.
Yeah. That's a big thing because that has been you for a while, and then it's almost like going backwards.
It looks like a step backwards from the outside.
It's not.
Yes, and even internally, at the time, it felt like kind of a step back of, wow, what am I doing? I just had, years in this beautiful space that I built out, and now I'm back in my garage, and I just had to remind myself, like, there was a time in life that I would have killed to be in that garage. Like because I started in the corner of my bedroom. I was like, at those first couple years of hat making, I would have died to be in a garage.
Yeah.
So for people who are feeling that, sales aren't doing great right now. I'm not in the space that I want to be at the moment. Just remember that everything comes in seasons. This year, I think for many of us, it's been a season of kind of regrounding our businesses, seeing what matters to people in the world. Just so much happening that we can easily lose sight of why we do what we do. So if you are in a state of, I don't know why I'm doing this. Is it worth my time? Things aren't going as amazing as they were the year before. Just really remember your why of why do you enjoy making things?
Yeah.
Why, let's get back to the core of just enjoying making. But that the sales will hopefully come soon, and sometimes we just got to ride that wave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's been, I know of one in particular who has sold out drop after drop after drop, and for the first time didn't sell everything within 10 minutes. It's not a lot of products they put out, and I think that was a bit of a realisation. Our sales have definitely been slower. I think there's also a bit, especially this time of year, we're recording this now in late November, early December 25, and there's definitely some buyer's fatigue. Yeah,
with the Black Friday and people spending differently. I don't know. It's just that everyone is a bit buy.
Yes.
There's so much in your face all the time.
Yeah.
And you're just I can't be bothered with that,
Oh, I know. I get a million text messages a day for Black Friday deal.
Yeah.
Something's on sale.
What's that all about? Since when did e-commerce companies start texting people to buy stuff?
I know.
You've got my inbox. That's where it ends.
Yes. I'm why are you calling and texting?
Yes.
How did you get my number?
I think in 6 years I've maybe texted 8 or 9 customers, and usually it's, hey, I'll do a spot check before every subscription comes out, and sometimes people have subscribed twice by accident, and usually it's if they've not got back to an email, I'll text. It's never to sell somebody something. What's that about?
No, that's someone's personal space.
I'm do we now need 2 phone numbers? Right. Because we've got 2 email addresses. We've got an email address for subscribing to newsletters we want to read, and we've got our own email address. I'm do I now need a second phone number for people to get in contact? That's wild.
It is crazy.
I feel like it's just the world is just pushing tat onto people. I mean, it's also very raw because it's late November, early December. All I've been getting is Black Friday emails for about 7 weeks.
Yeah.
It seems like Black Friday is any day that ends in a Y at the minute.
Yes.
That is exactly right.
How do you tackle that as a maker?
So I very rarely do sales.
Good.
And because, I mean, you guys know, like, the work that goes into making something, if I give you a discount, then I'm working for free.
Yeah. The price is the price.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I don't have a retail markup. So I'm like direct to consumer. Yeah. So that's something that a lot of people don't understand, because I do get a lot of people who want to kind of haggle sometimes. And I definitely work with people if I know you or we have a relationship. Or if there is, like, if I have a hat that has been sitting for a long time, then I'll reduce it at like an in-person market or something.
Something where you've not got the overheads of shipping, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm. Or if it's like, I've had a situation where I had a hat sitting for about a year, and someone came into the shop and he tried it on and it just fit perfectly.
Yeah.
But before he tried on the hat, we sat and probably talked for like 45 minutes. Like, we just had this connection. And he even admitted, he's like, I'm not in the market for a hat. Your hats are beautiful, but like, I can't afford your hat. And he was like, do you mind if I just try it on? And he tried it on, but we had just made such a great connection. I was like, hey, like, what could you afford? Like, let's see if we can work something out, because this hat, it was made for you.
It's your hat. Yeah. That makes sense.
It just spoke to him, and it's just like one of those moments where you're like,
we need to make this work.
Yeah. It's for him. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's amazing. And so, like, obviously your business, like, what's next for your business? Like, you know, obviously, are you wanting another shop, or are you just happy in your garage?
So I'm definitely in the midst of figuring all of that out.
Yeah.
I had in the beginning of the year, I was actually working towards a new space.
Okay.
I was working with a local builder, and it was going to be like this big community space, and we were actually like building it from scratch.
Oh, wow.
And we were probably 6 months into the planning process when the funding got pulled.
You're kidding.
Yeah. And so the people who were investing in it, they were like it was kind of like when tariffs started really kind of kicking in. They were like, we can't make this make sense for us financially. It's just too big of a risk, and we're going to pull the whole project. Oh, no. So it was like they had already started like demolition, and we had blueprints and like...
So you're far down the line.
Far down the line. We had full mock-ups. I was looking at lighting fixtures.
Oh, that's really hard.
And it was like...
And was this private investment?
Mm-hmm. And so just one day we're like, oh, that's not happening anymore. And so I had been in the garage, but it was still very much being used as a garage too. Like, we had my lawnmower in there still, because I'm like, this is just temporary. I'm about to go into this space. And it was then I was like, okay, now I need to figure out, like, I need to try to make the garage really work, because I obviously have to still work. Yes,
and it has to be comfortable for you, because you want to still be able to do it to the highest quality you can.
Absolutely. And there was a few months where this whole living room and dining room was my hat studio.
Oh my God, I can imagine.
Like, I had so much stuff in here because the garage was still a garage. I was like, okay, we need to buy a shed. We need to get all of this stuff out of here and just make this my studio space. And so now I'm at a space where, you know, the garage is working. It's funny because when people would come to my shop and they would be learning to start a business from me, I would tell them, like, you don't need to start with all of this. Like, you don't need this big fancy shop to get this going. And then at that point this past year, I was like, I need to take my own advice. It's time for me to walk the walk.
It's hard to take your own advice sometimes.
Yes, and show people, okay, I don't need the big fancy shop. You can do this out of a garage. You could do it on your dining room table. Like, you can really, if you want to make it work, you'll make it work anywhere.
Yeah.
If you're really passionate about it, doesn't matter. You will make it work.
Yes, absolutely. So now I am in the middle of trying to figure out, do I want to be in a retail space? I'm kind of leaning more towards another more private studio away from my house. Because this year I teach a lot of workshops.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that, yeah.
And we've been renting Air BnBs, which has been fun.
Interesting.
That's a nice way to do it. I like that. I like the idea of that.
Is it more like a retreat, or is it like...
And so it's become kind of like that.
Okay.
So it's still people just coming, usually just 1 or 2 people at a time, so private. And they have me fully to themselves for 2 days. And
Oh, wow. So it's 2-day.
yeah, the 2-day intensive, and they're
How many
building
people,
a hat.
sorry?
Usually just 1 to 2.
Nice.
So that way they are really getting the hands-on help that they need. And we're going from start to finish. Like they're picking their raw materials and I'm showing them every aspect, every tool I use. And
So nothing is like secret?
Nothing. So I'm very much an open book with everything.
Good for you.
Which there's been mixed feelings from different people, but it's, I understand those feelings too. But for me, I found the more I share, that something bigger and better always comes my way. Like I found like my personal growth with my business has just been phenomenal since I started actually like sharing and not holding things back. And also the people who come and learn from me, it's really cool that they all stay in touch. So,
Nice.
So I still am like very much a part of their kind of journey in their hat making, whether they're doing it as a hobby or trying to build a business. It's really cool getting to see people grow in their own creative practice.
Absolutely. Like we speak to a lot of independent. I've probably mentioned this before. I'll start to sound like a broken record. We speak to a lot of people that are trying to start independent magazines. Rarely, if ever, they're in our niche. But when we started, nobody wanted to talk to us about how to start an independent magazine. Yeah. Nobody. Yeah. And my view is, in the same way it seems like your view is, my view is the more independent magazines are on the shelf, the better for everybody. Absolutely. The more handmade stuff that's on the shelf, the better for everybody, because it slowly starts to drown out.
There's so many heads.
Mass manufactured.
Yes. Do you know what I mean?
You could not, in 10 lifetimes, you could not hat every head in Albuquerque. Absolutely. Never mind the world.
Yeah. And that's what I tell people all the time because people who are not makers, they always ask, well, aren't you afraid by like teaching all these people that they're just going to steal your business? And like, it's been the complete opposite.
Really? You've noticed it's the complete opposite.
Like
There's a lesson in that.
Absolutely. Like, cause like you said, there's no possible way I could make enough hats for everyone in the world. Like I have my like very loyal customers. And I have customers that I know who have hats from like a bunch of different hat makers. Yeah. Like people who are going to come to you are going to come to you because they like the quality of work you put out. They like your style. They like your story. Yeah. They're personally connected to you. There's always going to be the person who's just like, oh, that's a cool hat. I want it. And then they'll take it from anyone. But I think every individual hat maker in the world is going to draw a different customer.
Yes.
And so
I think that about all the makers we've spoke to. Like, I know where I'd go for a pen. I know where I'd go. I know where Kate would go for a hat. Yeah. I know where I would go for a hat. And like, you have an affinity that is over and above the product. There's also things I think that I if you'd asked me, even if you'd asked me 10 minutes before I'd discovered some of them, I'd be like, I would never ever buy that. And then you see it, you speak to the person, you go, and I want one.
Yes.
And each craft person behind the product brings so much to the product.
100%.
How do you communicate that?
So I love doing like in-person events and when you get to be face-to-face with your customer, because I don't lead with my story, but somehow like the right people always just come up and we end up sharing essentially our whole life stories with each other.
Nice.
So it's such a cool experience. But just getting that yourself and your product in front of somebody who, necessarily wouldn't be like, I don't want to spend $1,000 on a hat. Like that's outrageous. Because I joke that I can't afford my own hats.
That's every crafts person
Yeah.
ever. Yeah.
If I didn't make hats, I wouldn't be able to afford this hat. So it's cool to be able to speak to a person and share your story of how you got into it, what went into this piece that they're drawn to. But also, you know, they get a chance to open up about like why they're even drawn to this.
Yes.
Like what do they think about handmade products? Like, and a lot of people have a story about how, like I was introduced to hats or woodworking or this or that from like my grandfather or my aunt or like this teacher that I had years ago, and it's just really stuck with me. And it's just so beautiful to see like all the little webs that go out into the world of how everyone has in some way been impacted by a maker.
So true.
And it really, like, having that face-to-face conversation really like opens up people to like sharing their stories as well.
Yeah. I can cut what I'm about to ask out, so don't feel you have to answer it. Is there a sense of solace in that with where this all started with your late husband, being able to share that story?
Absolutely. I am like an open book with my story, because I never want anyone to feel like alone in their grief. And so it's funny with workshops, I would say almost half of the people coming to do a workshop with me are coming because of my story.
Really?
And there's a mix of people who are coming just for fun, then the ones that are wanting to start a business, but the ones that are kind of just coming for fun, I would say half of them are coming because they've also experienced some kind of loss.
Okay.
And they're like, I found you online, I read your story, and I immediately knew like you were the person I needed to come to. And it almost creates this, I wouldn't say like therapy session, but
it kind of is.
It kind of is. And it's like I'm just here to like hold space for them in their process and just kind of facilitating this creative outlet to where they're really here to work through some of that grief or trauma. And I'm just there to listen and help them like put it into something physical.
That's really cool.
It's interesting you say you don't want to call it therapy, but if you think about it, pre us commercialising therapy, but pre us attaching a dollar value to an hour's therapy.
Yes.
That's what people done with quilting. It's what people done in the Highlands and Islands with tweed. It's what, you know, people would get together around a thing, often a craft. If you look historically, it was often a craft, to just talk through life.
Yes. Yeah. It's like that community. Like I feel like in the world that we live in today, because everything's online, like, yes, that does open it up to where I think people do have a different sense of community, but we've lost that in person, like where you're physically sitting here with me and we're sharing something, and we're creating with our hands, or we're sharing a meal or anything that is intimate. In that like face-to-face way that
can't beat it.
Yeah, you can't. And that's why, like, even with your magazine, just having it sitting here and being able to pick it up and look through it, like, it's an intimate thing that I think we've lost that in the world that we live in. And
I hope we've not lost it yet.
Yes.
I think we're losing it, but I hope we've not lost it
right?
yet.
But I feel like there's going to be, like, I just have that feeling that there's going to be a resurgence of it, because I think a lot of people are realizing it, like, oh, wait, I do want a physical thing. I do want this in-person experience. I do want things that are made by a person.
Yeah.
So
I have a theory about this, and I think I'm right, and I'm happy to say it and immortalise it online that I'm right, and I hope in 10 years' time I can say I was right.
we're going to make you a plaque.
Yeah. As everything gets more expensive, the jump between expensive rubbish and craft is just getting smaller, because craftspeople haven't been putting their prices up at the same rate everybody else has, and that jump is becoming less and less. So I was involved in the bicycle industry for a long time when I was younger, and the difference between, and although there's not a lot of people doing it, the difference between a smaller brand, bicycle brand, and a larger brand which charges as much, if not a little bit less, you're paying for marketing, you're paying for warehousing, you're paying for HR staff, you're paying for all. With a maker, you're paying for time and quality, and that is it. And as all these things add up to the cost of the tat, let's be honest, because a lot of the stuff out there is just rubbish. And as these get more and more expensive, I really hope that the closing of the gap, I think now is the time for us to be shouting louder about crafts, because it's not the difference of buying think about Field Leather made me an amazing leather jacket, and if I'd bought I'll show you it in the car, it's really nice.
Yeah, very nice.
If I'd bought a really good leather jacket from, even a really reputable brand like Belstaff, it'd have been £1,200, £1,600, £1,800. Field Leathers is £1,600.
Yeah.
And it's one guy and his best friend who sews for him in a shop in Fife.
Yeah.
And we're not paying for wholesale distribution. And by the way, you buy a Belstaff, you buy it from, say, John Lewis or any other big box store. They've got a markup.
Yeah.
Belstaff's got a markup. How many people need to pay for it? I'm really, really positive for the sector. I don't know where I was going with that. Other than that, I think I'm right.
Yeah.
But I'm really positive for that, being able to do exactly as you're saying, tell your story.
Yeah, we just need to just really hone in on your story and like who you are and like what you bring to that product.
Yes.
That people will have forever and be able to, like, for example, there's so many things in your house that you could be like, that came from so-and-so, and like that starts a conversation, and then the person learns so much about that, like, oh, I want one, you know?
Yep.
It's just that story, it's in everything, and we should just shout about it.
I think we do need to shout about it.
Yes.
Tell me more about organising, because I think this is really important for there's so many makers that don't want to do a course because they don't have space to do it, because they're working out of a garage like you or a front room like you were. Sorry to gush on you for a minute, but it's genius. Absolute genius. Booking an Airbnb and doing it there. How did that all come about? How do you organise it? Give me the soup to nuts of it.
Yeah. So it was kind of out of a panic that I decided to do Airbnbs, because before I had my storefront, I would host workshops in other small businesses. But it wasn't until I had my own storefront that I was doing the 2-day workshops. Because when I'm working with another small business, it's like, we've got the space for 4 hours. And because they have other things happening, they can't just have me like camped out for multiple days. And so when I had my shop is when I really started doing the private, come build a hat from scratch, multiple days. I've had people who did like 4 or 5 days with me, and having my own space, that was easy. I'm already there.
Yep.
So when I closed that space, I still had workshops booked, and then people still reaching out to do workshops, and I didn't want to just stop doing workshops. And I was reaching out to other businesses, but it was just hard to schedule multiple days in a row where I could use their space and the amount of space that I needed. And I was just like, okay, I think I'm just gonna rent out this. I know a woman who owns multiple Airbnbs in town, and they're beautiful. I was like, okay, like, let's just book out one of these, see how it goes. It's tricky because I am doing 2 5-hour days. So with the check-in and check-out times of an Airbnb, you have to book the space for 4 days.
Right.
Okay.
So that was a challenge of finding one where you can still make a profit. And not just the whole workshop is going to pay for the 4 days in this beautiful Airbnb. But I just researched a ton of spaces around town, and kind of calculated it out of like, well, the cost of this is kind of what I'm saving being in the garage and not paying rent and all the overhead from my space. It's kind of equaling itself out, and still less than what I was paying in utilities and rent in my space. So I'm not losing money by renting these spaces out. And so I also would try on some of them, I kind of double booked different things. So I would have someone, we would do the workshop. They usually run from like 9 to 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then in the evening, I could have like someone doing a smaller thing, like, oh, come by at like 5:30 and we'll do a bolo making workshop.
Oh, cool.
So you can have multiple things, like, because my 5-hour chunks with my hat making people were usually in the mornings. And then
It's a full day.
Yeah. And so I would just try to see if I could fill things in the evenings as well. In the nights that I didn't, fill it with a workshop, I would like invite my friends over for like a nice dinner party.
Nice.
This is lovely.
And so you can really like utilize the space.
Yeah.
And
would you have people stay with you? Would they stay over or?
So there was a few times that we worked it out where my customer because almost everyone coming and doing workshops are flying in.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So there were a few times that we coordinated where they stayed at the Airbnb. So that was even so we split the cost of they weren't actually paying full price. Well, I guess technically because through the workshop they were paying it, but then the other half they were paying because they were going to pay to stay somewhere anyway.
Yeah, okay.
So I really try to work it out to where it's like I can make it worth the cost. But there are some times a year, like we have the big balloon fiesta that happens here.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
And prices just skyrocket.
Yeah, as you do. Anywhere like the same.
Yes. So it's like if there's some special event happening, the Airbnbs are obviously going to be more expensive. And for me, I just eat the cost because I think it's kind of equaled itself out over the year.
Yeah.
That because sometimes I'm paying $400 for 4 days, and I'm like, wow, that's great. And then there are times where it's like, okay, we're gonna have to pay like $900 for the 4 days, but because I saved it, then like it all equals out.
Yeah. That's a really good way of looking at it. Some weeks you will make obviously a lot more, and others there's just other things happening in the area, right, that are going to drive those costs up. And still better to do them and have them continue to happen than not do them at all. Mm-hmm. Why don't we see more content around these?
Yeah,
I know, because I'm terrible at it.
Because I'd love to see this.
And that's so it's so funny because I actually, this year I bought different camera stands and the little things that can have your phone, it'll track you through the house and all of this so I can start filming content, and they're still in their box. I've never unwrapped it. So I really need to.
We've been there. You're not alone. Trust me.
So that's actually one of my big goals for 2026 is document everything, because this year I think I started off the year feeling very self-conscious, shifting back to the garage. So it's in my shop, it was easier for me to, I just pop my cameras up all around the shop and every angle's pretty.
Yes.
Okay.
I can see why that was difficult because I'd feel exactly the same thing.
And there I'm like, if it's angled that way, you see the lawnmower.
Right, okay.
So, but now it's a little better in there. But I'm like, okay, again, looping back to I need to walk the walk. If I'm going to tell people you don't need this big, beautiful space, I need to show them that you can still
And that will resonate with so many people if you share that.
Yes, because if even me after almost 10 years of making, if I'm still self-conscious about it, I'm sure tons of other people are. And we just have to keep reminding ourselves, and I'm saying this so I can remind myself, is that it's not about the space that we're making in. It's about what we're making.
You're so right.
And people don't care that it's coming out of a garage or a corner in your bedroom or, anywhere, a storage facility. They don't care as long as the end product is beautiful and they can resonate with it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So,
I do need to. And the person who's making it.
Yes.
So we need to see more of that.
Yeah. It's the editing bit that we find difficult.
Yeah, that is the hard bit.
Easy. You just make it happen. I say easy. You just do it, but finding time to edit it all afterwards is
and for it to make
difficult.
sense as well. You're like,
yes,
well, the viewer actually find this interesting. I don't know, but
I know.
We're just trying everything, aren't we?
Everything. Probably too much.
Too much, yeah.
Probably too
Well,
much.
I mean, you guys do a beautiful job. So
well, thank you. We try really, really, really hard. It's the juxtaposition of digital versus physical. But really all we would rather do is just do the magazine.
Yeah.
I would rather do more pages, better, more, and just do the magazine. But nobody knows you exist if you don't do the social bit.
Yes.
And it's brutally difficult to judge it all.
It's always been my biggest struggle is social media and just putting myself out there. I think I would be completely happy if no one knew who I was.
I would be so happy if no one knew it was.
Yeah.
We've talked about this so many times, like, Kate, can you just present this and I'll just do the back?
You'd be the face.
Yeah, I'd be so happy, but it just...
But like, I'm not confident in front of camera either. It's been a very much a like, you know, you like, we were doing this little reel the other day, weren't we? And I kept getting what I was trying to say wrong. I was like, why is this so difficult?
Yeah.
It's because there's a camera staring at me and somebody's filming me. It's like, no, I don't like it. But we do it because...
Yeah, you do it because the mission matters.
It does matter. So that helps a little bit.
it just... So tell me more about the actual making of the hats.
Yes.
So you started cold, like didn't know anything about it.
I knew nothing
So
about
much
hats.
to this, we've already learnt that actually a display block is very different from a block for making a hat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I wouldn't have thought about. I'd have made that mistake, so credit to you.
Right, I'll pull them out and show you because I still have that block.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
And you'll be like, oh yeah, that's very different. So my process, I think every hat maker, we all have a very similar process, but at the same time, we're all very different. So for me, like when I am starting with hat, we're all starting with the same kind of hat blanks.
Yeah.
There aren't very many companies out there that are making the quality of blanks that we need to make this quality of a hat.
And what state's a blank in when you start?
So they're just like in this kind of rough, just domed out, open crown shape. So they're not any specific size. Usually they've got a nice big brim because we're gonna cut it down to whatever length we want it. And it's, I'm like, I wish we were in the garage now. So I could show you all the tools. We have our wooden hat block that we are going to be stretching or shrinking our felt down to that hat block. So I have the full range of hat sizes that are just the standard sizes across the board. But I will pull it to that size. And when we get it to whatever shape we're gonna be doing, if it's for a person, we're gonna be custom fitting it to their head. So I have a tool that I get the shape of their head, and then I'll transfer it to a block of wood and cut it out. So I have a little like mold of their head that we'll put into the hat, and I'll steam and iron the hat out. So it's actually not just this standard oval.
Yeah.
It's actually gonna be their head shape. That way when they put it on, it should fit like a glove. And if someone else puts it on, it's gonna feel weird because no one has the same lumps
hat.
and bumps.
Right, okay. So this is like an actual perimeter, like a topological perimeter of somebody's head that you're cutting out, okay?
Yep, and so I have a tool that's called a conformature, and it just has all these little sliding pieces that will just go to their head, and you tighten it up, and then we'll just trace it out onto some wood. And I have my bandsaw, and I just cut them out. There's also a tool that you can use called a formilion. And it's essentially just an adjustable head. So you take your tracing and you'll just adjust that tool to the shape of the head. So you don't have to cut a piece of wood every time. But I love cutting the wood. And so it's just, and I'll send it with their hat. That way they can, if they're storing their hat, it's like gonna keep the head shape, but it's also like a little momentum for them. Like I'll usually engrave their name and the date and my logo and stuff on it. And
so it's like a little plug that goes into it.
Yep, and you just pop it in there if you're gonna
Thanks,
store
Jamie.
your hat.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and then I pretty much do all the traditional shaping. I do all my shaping by hand. So you can buy hat blocks that are the shapes. I mean, you just kind of mold it to it. But I found, like, for me, I love the process of shaping. So doing it by hand and because I like the imperfections of doing it by hand, I like that I could make 20 of these hats and they will all be different. Even though they're all technically the same, you're gonna have all the little imperfections that make it a handmade piece. But yeah, and then we pick your brim length. Doing consultations with people is fun because, you get to see like all of their ideas come to life. So when we're going over, what kind of little outer accoutrements do we want?
Yeah.
What was that word, sorry? Accoutrement.
Accoutrements.
Oh, I like that word.
That's very posh.
Yes.
Use that in your marketing spiel.
Yes. You know, when I tell them, like, you really can pick anything, like, I'll show them, like, I can go find a rattlesnake for you.
Like that one. Wow.
So, like, there's really, the sky is the limit and that's what makes it fun for me, because sometimes people will send me on, like, a wild goose chase. And I will say yes to pretty much every request,
Really?
even if I'm not confident that I can do it. And I'm open to them. I'm like, I'm not sure I can achieve this, but I'm going to try. And I'll let you
cool.
know.
That's the fun of it, right? No one else is going to do it.
Yeah. And so it's like, and that has helped me in my creative process of pushing myself beyond my limits of, like, I'm going to say yes to the things I can't do right now, because maybe I can learn it in this 6-week period well enough to do it on a hat.
Yeah.
So that's helped me exponentially grow, saying yes to my customers and their kind of outrageous requests sometimes.
How many hats have you got for yourself?
I actually only have 3.
You only have 3. That must have been hard, because I'd just be like, I'll just make those.
None of them were made for me either.
Okay.
So were just like leftover hats from markets that didn't sell. Okay. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just keep this one. I've made myself 1 hat in these 10 years of making, and someone bought it off of my head.
Really?
And so it was, I don't own any hats.
You should do that more often.
Yeah.
I'm the model. Do you want to buy this one?
Yeah,
Do you
put
want
a
this
for
one?
sale ticket in
Yeah.
there.
And it was the craziest thing. I was traveling. I was in Austin, Texas doing a show, and me and my partner were out for dinner afterwards. And I had made my my hat just for this trip. It was only a couple days old. And we're out to dinner, and a woman stops me and is like, "Oh, I really like that hat. Like, where'd you get it?" I was like, "Oh, I made it." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, you make hats?" I'm like, "Yeah, like, this is the only one like it." And it was a little heart on top. And she's like, "Do you mind if I try it on?" And I was a little taken aback, like, "What?
Is she going to buy my hat off me?
This hat on my head, you want to try it on?" But I was like, "Okay, sure." And it fit her perfectly. Like, it was like, we must have the same shaped head, because it just went on. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, this feels so good. I love it. Like, how much do you want for it?" I was like, I was going to wear that to dinner, but, and then I just said, my partner was like, "Just give her a price." And so I gave her an outrageous price, because I'm like, there's no way she's going to buy this. She bought it. She just like, was
She
like,
sends you the money there and
yeah,
then.
she was like, "Do you take Venmo?" And I'm like, "I do."
That's amazing.
So that was like the craziest experience I've had with, like, selling hats. But literally the only hat I've ever made for myself,
Someone bought it.
someone bought it.
That just shows that your style, people like your style. That's a
Yeah,
good compliment.
yeah, if there was ever a tell,
Yes.
like, I make good hats.
Yes.
Someone
Someone buys
bought
it off your head.
on the way to dinner.
I love it.
Right. I was like, okay, now I'm like trying to fix my hair. I just have hat hair.
Yeah. Oh, I love
That's
it.
amazing.
So
Well
that was
done.
cool. But yeah, I've never experienced that again, but
I mean, Austin,
brilliant.
Texas is pretty cool.
it is.
Yeah.
It's a fun place. I've
I can
only been a
imagine
few
that would
times.
have worked there.
Yes.
So you've done, what shows have you all done around the US, and what ones work, what ones don't work, and why do you think the ones that work?
So I've done a few, like, what was I think the one I did was in Austin. So the one that the person bought the hat off of me, that was for a private event. It was a skincare brand was hosting all of their influencers out at like a fancy resort in Austin. And so she hired me to come and do a workshop with all of her influencers. So that was a really cool experience, because I am not in that world. And I'm like, wow, you just like flew all these people out, and you're like gonna pay for them to do a workshop? Like, so there are 12 women. And I was like, this is insane. Like, this is a totally different realm. So those kind of events are really fun to do, because I'm like not a fancy person. So getting to go and be in that lifestyle for a day is always fun. So those always work really well. I've done I want to say it was a Renegade or market for makers,
Okay.
a market for makers out there. And it was a great show, just not for my products.
Right.
It was insanely busy. My booth neighbor was this incredible candle maker who just made the coolest like food candles, and they all smelled amazing and looked beautiful. And she sold out like every
Really?
single day.
Wow.
But it was one of those markets where people were coming for gifts, and they were kind of
smaller products that
smaller,
Yeah.
probably like under $100
Yeah.
type thing. So all of like my wallets sold really well. My lower end hat pins sold really well, but I only sold one hat. Ended up breaking even. Like I made my booth fee.
I mean,
And
so that was
people-
nice.
And
Yes.
people learnt about you. So it's like
Yes.
you've covered your costs.
And it's hard to tell. Like I tell people all the time when they ask me, like, how do you gauge if a market did well? I'm like, I won't know for probably a month after.
Really?
Because I hand out so many cards.
Yeah.
Like people who were like, oh, I'm not here to buy this kind of, I'm not ready for this investment today. But in a couple weeks, in a month, they'll reach out like, oh, I met you at that market. I want to get a gift certificate for my mom. It's her birthday. Or I want to set up a workshop with me and my friends.
Yes.
Or I'm looking for a custom hat in a couple months. Like I'd love to get on the roster. And so it's hard to gauge markets until like a month after.
that's a
Yeah.
good way of looking at it because it's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just making sure you do gauge them.
Yes.
It's making sure you do track where the customers are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Do they usually just tell you, or do you ask? How do you do that?
So they'll usually tell me. Like if someone met me at a market, they always lead with, you met me at
Okay.
this market. But my first couple years before I had my shop, I was strictly markets. So
Yeah.
I was, there were probably 2 years where I was at a market every single weekend for the market season. And like that's where my kids would come with me. Like we were a staple in the community. Like I think the people knew my kids more than they knew me, which was really fun. But you doing that many markets for that long, you really narrow down the ones that work for you
Yep.
and the ones that don't. And you can tell like, okay, this market is for like the quick impulse buyer. They're not looking to spend more than $40. This market is where the people they're coming to spend, they're looking for a certain quality of work.
Yep.
And you'll learn pretty quickly which ones are your clientele and which ones aren't. And so, but it does take a little bit of trial and error, and just you got to go and do some dud markets. And
Yes. And so you can see the comparison, right?
And are these markets all around the states you're in?
So yeah, I was primarily in New Mexico, but I would go like down to Las Cruces, up to Santa Fe, mostly here in Albuquerque. We have an amazing community of makers in Albuquerque. And so our
that's
market
wild.
seasons are like, there's a different market all around town during market seasons. You can just drive around and happen upon a really cool market.
Nice.
And so, at each one, you'll find different things,
Yeah.
which is really fun. So yeah, I didn't start traveling for markets until after COVID.
Okay, yeah.
And that kind of opened up like, oh, I should start branching out outside of New Mexico. And now recently my all-time favorite that I've done in the past couple years is the Makers Camp up in New
Yes.
York.
You've been there a few times, haven't you?
Amazing. Yes.
Yes.
So this was my second year going up there and setting up and doing workshops, and just the crowd of people that they bring in is phenomenal. Like usually at markets or different places that I go and teach, you get a handful of people that will kind of question your
Yeah.
prices, or like, well, why would I want that? Like,
Yeah.
and you get the occasional rude person who's just like telling you that your work's ridiculous or something. I haven't encountered a negative person up there. Like
Cool.
every single person that I come across up at Makers Camp is so kind and so generous with their knowledge. Usually
Yeah.
they'll be like, oh my gosh, I know someone who we could make like a cool collaboration on a hat band because they do this. Or I
Yeah,
know this
that's cool.
maker who does this. Or let me show you this tool that might make that easier for you. And they're all just outstanding people. So at the very, very top of my list of events.
Go next year?
Now. I am, yes. So I'll go as many years as they'll have me.
Is it New York State? Mm-hmm. New York State.
So
what time of year is
upstate
it?
New York. It's in October. And people here, they're like, I can't believe you're leaving, because it's the same weekend as our balloon fiesta, which is our biggest event of the year. And they're like, I can't believe you're leaving for balloon fiesta. I'm like, you guys don't understand.
Yeah, I have to be there.
I have to be there. And like, if you guys knew about this, you would be there too.
I know, we really need to see this, don't we?
It's come up a few times. Maybe they'll hear this and invite us to report on it.
I know. I want to talk.
That'd be amazing.
I'd love to talk about like the younger generation, because obviously your kids are quite creative as well, aren't they? Tell us about your daughter, because I find that amazing.
Oh gosh, I could talk about them forever. Like they grew up doing all of these things with me. Since they were born, they watched me running creative businesses.
You probably don't know anything different.
They don't, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a conversation. It's like, Mum, do you know Mike's dad goes to an office?
Yeah.
That's weird, you know?
Yes, and it is funny, like that, because they grew up and we homeschooled, and it was a very different lifestyle. When they were younger, we lived up in the mountains, so they just could roam the forest.
Yeah.
And like my husband, he had like a professional job. He was a lawyer, but he was also a creative. Like he was trying to get into blacksmithing and leatherworking, and was always like, he would make his own bows and arrows. And so they grew up just immersed in like, let's make something. And so early on, I think my daughters were, 9 and 5 when they started like popping up with me at the markets. And so they would have their own little booth inside my tent, and they made jewelry out of wood scraps and little paintings, and they would make little prints and stickers to sell. And so they had their own business. It was called Bug and Bear. And people didn't know me as Jessi from Great Collectives. They're like, oh, you're Jessi, Bug and Bear's mom. So that was really cool. Does that tell you
your kids are better at marketing than you?
Yeah, they are. They would make more money than me sometimes. So,
because they don't have any outside influence of like, oh, I don't care. Like, you know,
and
they should be more kid-like.
And that's what I loved about, since they grew up in it, they love to go and talk to other makers. So they'll like make their lap around the market, and they'll go and ask people like, what's your process? Like, how did you make this? Like, what went into this? Like, they want to know, which is always really cool, because then you can see the maker like, oh, wow, this kid wants to know like how I made this. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and they love to tell them. So now they both kind of have their own, they split Bug and Bear. It's no longer in existence. They have their own businesses now. My older daughter, she does a lot of screen printing and 3D printing. And then she like makes lamps out of like ceramics and different things. And her business is called Strange Glow. And she like it's very like whimsical, which is cool. And so she has her own, style of things. And then my younger daughter, she does a lot of like fine art. So she loves painting and drawing, and she like sells prints and does custom artwork for people. Like right now she's working on a commission for one of her teachers, who her and her partner's anniversary is coming up. And so she's doing like a line drawing of them for their anniversary.
That's so cool.
And so she's wanting to do more markets as well. And my older daughter, she does markets, like our growers market and all of that. And she was actually popped up with me last weekend at my market selling her tote bags and prints and everything.
That's amazing.
And so I'm like really trying to nurture the idea that if you don't want to go into like the college route, which my oldest daughter is in college right now, but it's like you don't have to just stick to one thing. Like you can do all these other things, and you're capable of going out and making something for yourself. Like you don't,
good for you.
If this doesn't feel right, don't do it. And I actually have a like youth entrepreneur program that I like created when I was in my shop, and I had a little wall where other like youth entrepreneurs could sell their stuff in my shop.
That's Awesome. I wish more people would do that.
And I have a little like a workbook essentially of them, like how to start your business, like things you need to do. And to legally start a business at any age. Like you don't have to wait till you're an adult. You can whenever you understand this, you can do it. And just to let kids know that like there are people in the world that believe in you at this young age. Like you don't have to follow X, Y, and Z.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh.
That's really important.
Yes.
Really, really, really important because it's not I mean, you can tell me if it's different in America, but it's not the norm back home.
No.
School's
very boring, I think.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a little bit more creativity for children
Yes.
and to know that is a different path. I mean, even at university, you know, they would say there's only so many jobs for product, because we did product design, there's only so many jobs, so it's kind of a bit of a fight.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember that lecture.
Yeah, and we had like, in our last final year and fourth year, we had like 1 or 2 classes about business. Like, I was like, is that it?
Yeah, you've got like 2 hours of it, 3 hours of it.
You're like, no
Maybe
one's going to
4
learn
at a
anything
stretch.
from that.
Yep.
You know, so we just kind of, I always knew that I didn't really want to work for somebody else.
Yes.
You went on to work for someone because your job was awesome. But like learning how to run a business straight out of university is so difficult. And I only did mine for about 3 years before I thought maybe I need to go and get a real job. So I did a creative job, but it was working for someone else and I didn't like it. So it's trying to, straight out of university or college, it's like, you just need to find your path like I have. Like you need to try different things. You know, don't just think, right, that's what I'm going to do. Because most of the time it's not.
Right? And what, like 18-year-old going into that space knows what they want to do. I'm like, I don't even know what I want to do with my life and I'm almost 40.
You're doing a pretty good job. You are. I think you found your thing. I think you have.
I think I found it.
Yes, it's amazing.
If not, it's found you.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
One of the
Yes.
two.
Yes.
And that's something I think we could all be more open to. I've been having a bit of an existential crisis the last 2 or 3 years, thinking I want to get out of my current job. And then about 2 weeks ago, for the first time ever, I finished a contract, not having another one lined up for the first time in 10 years. I was like, great, I'm going to go full time at this. And I don't know if I do want that. I don't know if I just want to work it out and do all the different things.
I don't think you have to be dead certain on your decision. I think it has to be.
There's
whatever
definitely enough
works
business
for you.
podcasts saying you must go all in. And for the longest time, and for anyone listening to this is a real person on the internet saying they might have been wrong, which doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. I think there's a balance, you know.
Yeah, thinking like you have to go all in, you have to do this. That's what people say, but I don't know. I think as a creative, you can kind of bumble about until the thing finds you.
Yes, I agree 1,000,000%. And I also think that if you get too stuck on it being like it has to be this way, this is my only path, like you're gonna hold yourself back.
Yeah.
Like I think you have to, even if you're like the hats, absolutely. I think they found me, and it's the thing that's stuck the longest, and I'm still super passionate about it. But if I get too like narrow-minded with it of like this is the only way, or I have this goal that's like a hard set goal, that's when I start to not like it. Like I need to keep myself open to like pivoting and being flexible with things and being open to other things coming in to guide me in a way that I didn't necessarily think that I would be going towards.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
It's a good topic to talk about.
Do you want to go on about it more before we move on?
No, I'm just saying like
If someone found your work in 100 years, what do you hope it would say about you?
I hope that it would say, wow, that's a good question. I mean, I hope that they would see like a full life lived in it. Like I hope that in 100 years, they can find a hat that's been so well worn that they can tell that, you know, it was an extension of its wearer, that my customer loved it to pieces and just like wore it into the ground.
Yeah.
And that you can see the life lived in it. Because those are my favorite hats.
There's a phenomenal portrait shot in black and white. I can't remember the artist that done it. In Phoenix Airport, as you land, they've got an exhibition, all the ranches of Arizona. And there's a guy, old rancher, like late age rancher, and the corner of one side is like bunched up. And you can tell he's obviously a heavy-handed guy that pulls his hat off like that every time.
Yes.
And when you said that, that's exactly what I thought about.
I love it.
Because that guy's hat has lived a life.
Yes. And that's what I get customers who want me to do all the distressing and they want it to look lived in right off the bat. And I'll do it, but I always try to encourage people. I'm like, let it patina on its own.
That will happen in time.
Yeah.
Like your hat will get there if you wear it.
Yes.
The thing is you have to wear it.
Yeah.
Can't just sit on a shelf.
Yes.
Filson Clothing used to run an amazing ad on that. I'm not sure they are what I first fell in love with Filson now. I think they've been bought out. I don't know, I bought some stuff from them recently and I wasn't as impressed. I looked at a tin cloth cruiser for years. I ended up gifting it to someone, but the point was I ended up buying it when we were in New York, and the thing that swayed me is that a very simple line: if it takes this long to wear in, think how long it's going to take to wear out. And I was like, yes, that's it.
I love that line.
It was so good. And I might be paraphrasing that, I've not got the best memory, but that was the sentiment.
Needs to be
If
on a
it takes
t-shirt.
this long to wear in, how long will it take to wear out? And I always remember thinking like that, if I make something and put it into the world, if I ever get hands on again, that's what of the sentiment I want.
Yes.
And that sounds like it's exactly what you're, like, let's not, and I mean, it's different. Malay's Hats, who's going to be in edition 17, which is available on the 1st of February for everyone to go and subscribe to. They are taking old hats and repurposing them, and they're doing a lot of the patina, and because the hat has wore its life, they're rebuilding it.
Yes.
And I love that.
Same.
As a new hat, yeah, I think there's something that I don't think you can fake patina.
No.
I also love old patina trucks, and when you see people do a patina paint
truck.
job, it doesn't work.
Yeah, no, it's like there's nothing like that genuine, like this has seen so much.
Yeah.
A full life was lived in this, and like this is from actual like work and wear. And I had a customer who just brought me, because I'll rework hats for people as well, and he found a bunch of his late grandfather's hats they were just like thrown in a shed, but he was a real rancher.
Yeah.
And so they were in rough shape, but they had the most beautiful patina to them. Like you could tell, I mean, it's like sweat and dirt and all the things. And it was a little gross, but also amazing.
Yeah.
But he found pictures of his grandpa back from the 50s. And he's like, this is what they used to look like. And we cleaned him up a little just so that he could actually wear it and not like get dirt on him.
Was it that bad?
It was bad.
Wow.
And, but got him wearable, but I definitely wanted to leave a lot of that grit to it, but just got him back into their original shape.
What a
and
job.
now he's going to be able to wear them and he'll be able to pass these hats down because they were pure beaver hats. And unless you rip a hole through it, that hat's going to last forever.
Really?
So, yep. And that's why I tell people when they want to use like fire and like burning stuff, I'm like, you're going to mess with the integrity of the felt. These hats are made to last. They're made to be heirlooms. That's why you're paying this price. Like, don't mess with the integrity of the felt, because you're going to get that look you're looking for
On your own.
Like it'll do it. Just let it live a life.
Yeah.
It's the cost analysis, isn't it? You say it's a hat for life. And I know they cost what they cost, and I completely understand why they cost what they cost. The cost analysis is, I'm going to harp on about boots again. I'm in my third pair of boots since 2015. We're now 10 years. I put these on 3 months ago. Third pair of boots. I wear the same boots every single day.
Love it.
Like, yes, I do about £250, $300 on a pair of boots every time I buy a pair of boots.
But they're comfy, they're real leather. Like you can you can dress them up, you can dress them down. Like they're a perfect boot for you.
And my point is, if these do another 5 years like the other pair, that's 15, so that's say $900 in 15 years. How much is the normal person spending on £60 or £100 pairs of shoes in 15 years?
Yes.
Just do the maths. Anyone that's stumbled across this that's not already in the making space, if there's anything to take away from this, to think about the cost of handmade, do the maths long term. And we're so programmed to do the maths short term.
Yes.
We're so programmed to see the initial cost. Imagine that you put it on a 15-year credit card. How much is it costing you per day?
Yeah.
If it was
Right?
interest-free, of course. Let's not talk about interest because that
Yeah.
just blows that idea out the water.
It's
But
like, break it down.
Yeah.
It's so much more affordable.
so much more affordable.
Yep.
With that,
Yes.
before I go into a rant about cost per day, which is quite common, Kate?
Yeah, what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh my goodness. If I were sitting here chatting with younger me, I would tell her to know your worth. So know when to say no to things. Because there are plenty of times that in this business, you get a shiny, new, big, what seems like a great opportunity. It doesn't feel right, but because you don't have the confidence that something better might come, you're going to say yes to things that don't actually serve you. So yeah, and then, yeah, know your worth and just be confident in your work. Because I spent so many years comparing myself to other makers and thinking they're so much better than me because they have this following or they have this big brand. And so that means that their quality must be exponentially higher than mine. And it took me so long to figure out that no, like I do good work.
Yes.
There's a reason people come to me, and just because I don't have 1 million followers on social media doesn't mean that
It doesn't show your worth.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so glad you've realised that.
Yeah. And I hope that other makers realize that well before I realized it.
But it's even like the same with the magazine. Like when we started the magazine, I'd look at different magazines like, oh, they've got 50,000 followers. Look at their aesthetic. Look at like how they've sorted their stuff out. And I'm like, how do we? And I always think, how do we get to that?
Yeah.
6 years later, we're just getting to that. You know, so like there's so much behind someone's big following and their work. Like it's taken them time to get there, and so will you.
But also, it doesn't immediately influence sales at all.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like, and this is not a stab at Instagram because everyone should be doing it and should be putting as much out there as they can. But it's not the golden arrow that we all, or the silver bullet, sorry, that definitely just made golden arrow up, sticking with that. It's not the silver bullet that we all thought it once was. Like, it's a very good marketing tool and it should be used.
Yes.
But like I look, we've got 17,000 people on our newsletter, 51,000 people follow us on Instagram. We get decent engagement. I don't think we get good engagement for the amount of followers we've got. Yeah. It does not translate directly into subscriptions. We've got 1,200 subscriptions, which has allowed us to launch a second grant fund. Like, if we had 50,000 subscriptions, the things we could do would be wild.
Yes.
But they
That
don't.
does not.
It's become detached and it's becoming more and more detached. Those numbers don't influence those numbers. Soul Forged put out a reel the other day and he's been blowing up. He works out an old Irish, his blacksmith works out an old Irish forge. It's, you know, centuries old forge. And his content's been fantastic but he's become a content creator. And I couldn't help but feel, this is going to sound super insensitive, and if Soulforge is listening to this, or anyone that knows them listening to this, I mean this in the absolute greatest respect. And it's also not his fault, because we've all been led to believe that more content, more followers is more business, and he has smashed that. I've been watching his growth just quietly from behind. He's not someone we've interviewed, he's not someone we've had much to do with, because we like to interview smaller people, the people that are boots on the ground, the people that are doing the thing. We've just not been out that way. It's for no other reason than that. But he's become this content creator. And then he's putting a reel out to say that it's hard, I'm not selling things. Because he's become an entertainment person. He has followed what he's believed to be the path. And I'm sure he has sold things and it's great. But then I look at another blacksmith like Anna, who's putting out great content and getting huge views on it. It's not entertaining at all. Like, it is entertaining. She's not trying to be an entertainer.
Yes.
She's just smashing out the work and recording it, and she's selling every time. And they're two different things. And I think what I'm trying to get at is, by all means, put as much out as you can, especially if you enjoy it, but don't think that should be everything you do with your business, because that might not increase the bottom. It absolutely might, but it's not the silver bullet or golden arrow to increase your business.
Yeah.
And I really, really felt sorry for him putting that out, but also had this feeling of like, how many other people are in the same position?
Yes.
And we've all done it to ourselves. Mm-hmm. We've definitely concentrated more on content that's just not worked.
Yeah.
And also content that's not trackable. Like, we do this podcast because we love it.
Yeah.
We started the podcast because it allowed us to put more content out and it allowed us to satisfy the Reels algorithm.
Yeah.
But we keep doing it because we enjoy doing it. We don't keep doing it because it drives sales. Because I don't know if it drives sales. It doesn't track.
Absolutely. And on the other end of the spectrum of that, like this year, I think I've posted 5 times in the whole year. And I thought that there was a time this year that I was like, my business is going to go under because I'm not present on social media. And it's been the opposite. Like, I have been busier than I actually wanted to be busier.
Wow.
Because there were times in the year where I'm like, okay, I'm going to just focus on my kids, and like, I'm not going to try to get business. And business just kept coming in, and I wasn't posting at all. So it's like, I've never like paid for ads online. So all of my followers are real followers. And so it's like, I don't have this massive following, but it's been organic over the last 10 years. And so they're real customers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even though I was not present at all, they still were, which was phenomenal. Like, because I was like, I'm for sure
You've built
gonna
a
lose
foundation,
everything.
or you've built a foundation of people who know you still exist, and
Yes.
you know, will keep coming back to you because you've built up that, you know, which is amazing. Yeah, interesting topic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So with all that, we've talked about what's next. I think we've covered all the bases. Is there anything you want people to know?
Ooh. I mean, I think in this next year, I really want to shift the business to be a little more focused on like memorial things. Like, I would love to take on more memorial work for people and do more of those workshops where people are coming to work through grief and trauma through a creative practice. So I'm actually taking steps in the new year to kind of shift the business in that way a little bit. Like, still doing all the things that I'm doing, but we're going to add that extra layer of where now it's going to actually be advertised that this is something that I'm offering, and it isn't something that just kind of happens upon us in a workshop.
Yeah. It's fully focused on that. That's really cool. I look forward to seeing that.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll do a great
I've got a funny
job.
feeling it's going to do pretty well.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much for being part of the We Are Makers journey.
I know.
Thanks so much for being part of the magazine. Thanks so much for being part of the podcast.
Thanks for just being an awesome person.
Yeah, just thanks for
Thank
doing
you,
what you do. We try.
We try.
Yeah, just thanks for doing what you're doing. It's a really interesting journey. It's obviously something deeply personal to you, and I'm really honoured that we've been able to share it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. And for everything you guys do
Thank you.
with the magazine, like, it's truly incredible.
No, thank you.
And it really is like what our world needs. So
Yes.
Yeah.
And we'll
Cheers
just
to
keep
you
doing
guys.
it. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.